damn fool. Hello and welcome to Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast. My name is Connor McKenna.
I'm Rebecca Hart.
And I'm Karl Stout.
And we're back.
Yay.
I don't know if I'd call it back. This happens all the time. We're always here. So, life, etc. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go, I'm so sorry. It'll never happen again, like other podcasters, and then it happens again, because it might happen again. So,
it's gonna.
Yeah.
A lot.
But for now, we'll never go more than a month without doing an episode.
Lies. Stop spreading lies.
No, we'll never go more than like 5 weeks then without doing an episode. Because I know technically right now it's over a month, but it's only over a month by a couple of days. Anyway, yeah, so nothing's really happened. Well, there's been Luke Cage. We'll talk about that in a sec. Steve Ditko died, which is very unfortunate and sad. He was the co-creator of Spider-Man and plenty of other characters.
Harlan Ellison died.
Oh, he did too, didn't he? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wrote some Daredevil, some of which I read for the Moon Knight podcast this week, so...
Yep, and we've actually covered some Harlan Ellison Daredevil on this show. Well, I did the bonus episodes that he wrote, so I'll put those in the show notes. And the reason I'm quiet is because I have people sleeping in the next room, so... But yeah, Iron Fist news. Luke Cage came out, season 2, which had...
Hooray!
Yep. Huzzah. Which had Iron Fist popping up in it for one episode, which is the reason I started watching it, but I ended up enjoying the show itself. So I figure we'll talk about the show a bit, considering we are doing Power Man and Iron Fist. So let's talk about Power Man's second season, if you will. What did you guys think of it?
I really enjoyed it.
So did I.
I thought it was
and
better.
not just because Danny popped up in it.
Yeah.
I think the pacing was better. It didn't have that, because the first season had that massive drop off after episode 7.
Yeah.
Well, it did have one massive drop off which I loved. Claire went away.
That's not the same as a drop off, though.
Coincident, for me, because I was watching the show and I was 3 episodes in and I'm like, I kind of hate this. This is, I really don't like it. And then the show just got a lot better after episode 3, and coincidentally, that's when Claire left. But I don't actually think it's because Claire left that it got better. I think it just started focusing on the Bushmaster more, which is why I think it got better, but yeah.
I think they kind of tied up the storyline with her, but they also, showed that Luke could be a bit of a dick.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just going to put in spoiler alert here, because we will be talking about spoilers, so hold off listening to this episode until you've watched the show, or just listen to it if you're not planning to watch it, because I know a few people who haven't bothered watching it, they just watched the Iron Fist episode, which is a shame because I think the rest of the show is worth watching, but it does have for me it had a really bad start, so if people don't want to watch 3 hours of stuff,
I didn't mind the start. I mean, I always assumed, but I actually quite liked it. It kind of re-established where you were, it got everyone into their right sort of places to carry on the rest of the season.
It fixed one of my biggest problems with Luke Cage in these shows, is that because he was always written as a flawless character, morally, and the way it was played, he just came off as a really self-righteous douche. But in this show, they actually go, hey, let's actually make him a self-righteous douche, and they make that a character thing, and it proves to be his undoing, briefly. He gets, capoeira to death, briefly, but then he comes back, but still. Yeah. So, I really liked that. Obviously, my biggest problem with Luke being an ex-cop from Georgia, you can't fix that, so... whatever. I just had to I just had to suspend my disbelief whenever they talked about how much Luke loves Harlem and how he loves it just as much as Mariah when he moved there after Jessica Jones season 1.
Yeah, he's been there 3 years.
Yeah. Has he even been there that long? Because
I think it's right around there.
Okay, yeah.
2-3 years.
So I know it's his wife's neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I don't know about you guys, but Bushmaster totally stole the show for me.
He's amazing.
That is one creepy ass looking dude. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, he can pull off the creepy.
Yeah.
Because there are scenes where he's like, just chilling wearing the polo shirt at the bar.
Mm.
With his family, where he looks like a total normal guy, and then he's in that damn suit with them yellow eyes, and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
That dude's like the devil.
He was a great villain. In fact, I was actually going for him for the whole show. I was like rooting for him to win. And I'm really glad that he didn't eat the dust, because I thought he was going to. I thought Mariah would, really predictably do some sort of thing and kill him, and that would have really annoyed me, but he didn't get killed. Very unexpected ending to his character for this season anyway. I'm sure he might be back in the future. But yeah, I liked his backstory. I liked the accents. I loved everything about him, really. I loved his whole subplot was really good. I got a bit sick of Mariah in the last episode. I feel like she should have gone in the second to last episode. I feel like Bushmaster should have just killed her before Luke Cage stopped him from killing her. Which is, why? Just let him kill her. At that point, I'm just like, can she just die?
I still quite like her. I haven't quite got that.
That was my one complaint really about season 2, is there was a whole lot of getting in touch with your feeling talks, and
it's not the end of the world.
I know, but it's just like, oh no, not another one, not again. Oh, we're going to talk with Dad again.
I liked his dad.
Oh, I didn't have a problem with the dad. It's just the same conversation seemed to happen 3 or 4 times during that season.
That's true. They did repeat it a lot. But I guess I was happy because it...
And unfortunately, it looked like that actor passed away.
Yeah, he did. It was after filming, though. Because I thought the character kind of left suddenly, but someone pointed out to me that he just went back to Georgia. So... Yeah, but no, it's really unfortunate he passed away. I'll have to get his name up again. It's Father Everett from Daredevil. He passed away recently as well. I'll just have to get the actor's name up. Derek O'Connor.
Now, I'm forgetting the character's actual name, but the talks I do enjoy Luke Cage having is with the older gentleman from the barbershop.
Yeah.
He is another great actor who went to go save his daughter with his kidney.
Yeah, I remember him. Did he didn't really come back after that, did he?
No.
No. I know, I was reading that Rosario Dawson, who plays Claire, she didn't want to go all the way to New York for filming all the time, so she might be out of the Netflix verse now.
Yeah, she's got a young family, so...
Yeah. Good for her. Bushmaster was very different from the comic version. I would say the only similarity is that he boosts himself to fight Luke Cage. That's
now another weird little odd tidbit here that came up with. I caught it, and a bunch of my other friends who were watching the show caught it too, and they were actually expecting, because of what they saw, which, since nothing ever came of it, they just thought it, then later after they watched the whole season, they thought it was kind of odd. But they were expecting a bisexual twist onto Bushmaster. And do you know why a few of them thought this?
Why?
So I got to see if you caught it or not.
I honestly, nothing like that remotely entered my head. The last thing I was thinking about was Bushmaster's love life.
Yeah.
All right, and it's either episode 2 or episode 3 where they show Bushmaster waking up with 2 women in his bed. You remember the scene?
Yeah.
Vaguely.
And then his buddy's waiting downstairs, sitting on the couch. The woman on the right of the bed has full 5 o'clock beard shadow. And I'm not talking a little bit around the upper lip. Full beard. So everyone thought, it's like, oh, he's sleeping with a guy and a transgender man. So he's obviously bisexual. But then it was never addressed.
Well, maybe it doesn't need to be addressed.
There was that scene, actually,
I mean,
no,
it's
that
not
was
really
pretty different.
important who he's sleeping with,
Yeah.
is it? I don't know.
I didn't even notice, honestly.
Maybe that's what that scene signified. They don't need to go back to it.
Could be.
I mean, these days they'll shove that in, like, everywhere and not make a thing over
Yeah.
it. Like, it's just there. Which, if you're gonna, include, that stuff, I'm glad it's not like, ooh, we're patting ourselves on the back. Look, we have all these, diverse things in here. It's just, it just pops up now. It was like, do you remember that really weird scene in Batman v Superman where there was just 2 guys making out in the background? As Clark Kent was on a boat. It was really strange.
I just don't remark about these things. I'm like, oblivious to everything.
I usually don't, but it was like really weird. Like there was like sort of focus put on it as he was walking past them. I just thought, okay, that's odd. That's weird, but whatever. Zach's trying to say something, but who knows. So let's, I guess, move on. Nightshade was also in the show, which we will be seeing this issue. Power Man and Office 51. Also,
big shout out to that hairstyle in the last episode.
Yeah. Very different except for that hair at the end of the last episode. They're pretty much, these villains are pretty much the same in name, only the Bushmaster and Nightshade anyway. Probably Mariah as well, actually.
Yeah, actually.
Well, isn't Mariah like 7 feet tall and 600 pounds in the comic?
Well, it varies, but she's huge. But I don't think she's 7 feet tall.
I think in one of the issues she's like going toe to toe with Luke. In a fist fight.
She was.
I think it just depends which issue and which artist, but she's always meant to be huge.
And she was never into like business or anything, was she?
No, and Shades wasn't that much into it either. He was just a bit of a hoodlum. So they've totally just taken the names and reimagined them and modernized them, made them slightly less problematic. Blah blah blah.
I really liked Piranha Jones.
Given them connection, I loved seeing Piranha.
Yeah, he was great.
And Cockroach.
Yeah, Cockroach popped up. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I was like, that's so nice. I mean, it's just nice coming from like a run where we've seen them all.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
To suddenly have them again, because like it's a long time since we've read these really old issues. So to have had them in like Sanford Green's run, and then to have them all pop up again, it's just nice because you just recognise the names and you're just it's Cockroach and
So the Iron Fist episode. What you
guys... said it was getting a lot of popularity, but for the reason you didn't care. What were you saying?
Jeez, I was... they were
was it the
it
whole
was just
you
stuff
smoke?
like... No, it was just stuff like, Iron Fist shouldn't be like this angry, monk dude. Like, this is more like his character. I'm like, wait, what? Iron Fist is definitely an angry monkey dude. Like, I'm glad people are liking him, but people just saying that, now he's finally true to the comics, and it's like, well, he is, but like... That's not all there is to him. When he started out, he was very...
as I said to you, Connor, chill. We accept all people being happier about Iron Fist.
Oh yeah, I'm just...
No, I mean, it's like, but we come at it from a point where we've read almost all of Iron Fist's appearances.
I know,
We have
but
a different background with the character.
It's not
Most
like
people will have come from Immortal.
It's not like I'm citing some super obscure Iron Fist, though. I'm citing, like, his first run. And as I said, like, I'm
lot
glad...
of people don't read that.
And that's fine, but then they say stuff like, oh, this is not like the comics.
Yeah,
like,
but you know what
act
people are like.
Yeah, and that's bad. I'm never gonna be like, oh, that's just
That's
people. That's always gonna annoy me, because it's like pretending you know things when you don't, and not bothering to do research and being a know-it-all. You know, that stuff always really irks me, especially in, well, this isn't journalism, this is something else, but...
It's just it's just online commentary. They have no more, like no one has any more sort of, I don't know. I can't let things like that eat up at me. I'm happy with my own knowledge.
Karl asked me, so...
No. And it's true, and there's no reason.
It's the equivalent of people telling Rebecca, well, Moon Knight's just DC's Batman.
I don't care, they can say that all they want, they only make themselves look like idiots.
And then
so, like,
Rebecca's choking them out. Going, no, you fool.
I think you both don't appreciate how much I don't care what other people's opinions are. Like, the more someone says Moon Knight's Marvel's Batman, I just like, oh, you don't know anything about Batman or Moon Knight.
It's not so much their stupid opinion, it's more the spreading of misinformation that bugs me. Because people read these things and they take their words for granted, like they take them at face value. So all this misinformation gets spread. That? Yeah. I mean, it's like the old adage, like, everyone hates Robin, that sort of thing, because all the...
I love Robin.
Yeah, exactly, but like a lot of people hate it.
I told you, people are just wrong.
They are.
The world, they should just agree with me.
They should just all go to another planet.
Right, here's what the ground rules are. Moon Knight is not Marvel's Batman. Robin is better than Batman. Number one, all the Robins are better than Batman. And Danny has always had a level of anger in him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know about all the Robins being better than Batman. That's only because I haven't read much of Tim Drake or Damien.
Even Damon?
Oh, I love Damien. Don't even stop that. He's the best.
Yes, but the current Damien or the original Damien?
I like all Damiens.
Oh, wow.
Kind of funny how people hated Jason. But like,
I know.
Yeah.
But Jason's now really cool, so that's fine.
I liked Jason. I was reading stuff and he pushed that dude off the building and I'm like, yeah, you go, son. Maybe it's because I really hated Batman. And I'm like, yeah,
Jason always had a good point.
I'm glad you're just showing Batman that he's a tool. Although then sometimes he'll just be a complete idiot and Batman will show up and save him. But, God,
it's the same with all of them. I mean, they are kids,
If you want to, because I own a lot of Batman comics. I love Batman stories, especially from the 70s, as I'm sure Karl will agree.
That's when they were the best.
Yep. But
when the world's greatest detective actually detected.
After The Dark Knight Returns, the character became pretty insufferable for me, because everyone was sort of starting to do this, Batman is the best at everything. Before that, Batman was a bit more chilled out, and it was so if you share my disgruntlement with the character of Batman, read Batman the Cult, because that was cathartic.
Oh, funnily enough, I've just bought that.
Oh, okay, that was cathartic for me. Batman gets the crap beaten out of him, and it's awesome. You'll see what I mean if you guys read it.
I had it strongly recommended during the last DC Comixology sale, so it is now on my iPad ready to be read.
It's actually a really good Jason Todd.
I was recommended it by a fan of Jason.
Yeah,
so,
and it's also a pretty good book. And The Dark Knight Rises takes a lot from it as well, if you're interested in that. So, yeah. Sorry,
Did you guys read The Long Halloween?
Yeah, I own it.
I still haven't gotten around to that. That one's always suggested to me.
As the case of a lot of Batman books, Batman is the least interesting aspect of that book, and he's there just to move the plot along. And I'm probably making so many people angry right now.
I think it's a valid argument. I I think it's a valid argument. I mean, I've always found Batman more interesting when he's with the Robin, personally, which is why I made my glib comment about Robins being better than Batman. I like someone who's had to make their own family in the same way as I like that aspect of Danny.
Yeah.
He's someone who's had to, like, he's got this, like, not a false family, but you know what I mean? It's a family, he doesn't have family, he's had to create his family, and that leads to interesting dynamics, because there isn't that sort of, you know, like when you banter with your actual family, your siblings and your parents and stuff, there's a level of sort of, there's kind of a certain edge to it sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you know, you kind of have to, you know, you get along because you're family. There's not necessarily any other ties. When you bring it to, because it's friends, or through shared trauma in some of Batman and Robin's cases, like, it's a different bond, and I like watching that dynamic play out. I guess because I lost my mum quite young. So that whole idea of, like, bringing friends in instead of extended family has always been interesting to me. But it's, you know, like, it doesn't mean I think Batman is terrible. I just think the Batman stories I'm least interested in him are him on his own being either a grouch or miserable the whole time. Yes, when he's off being a detective, great. Because that's not sort of honing in on all that, oh, I'm so traumatized, my life is so terrible kind of thing.
My parents are...
So I think, yeah. I definitely have the get over it sort of pushing to the back of me.
I just, for me, there was a point he started becoming really self-righteous. I think it was around the Nolan movies, the comics started emulating it, like, oh, I'll never take a life. I don't know. But I'm with you, except for me, I read Batman, not for the Robins, but for, like, the atmosphere, the gothic sort of style, and I like his villains. I love Jim Gordon. I mean, I'm happy with Batman fighting the mob because I like all the characters. I like the atmosphere and stuff. If it's written well, it's good. It's just, if it's a story about, if it's like a character study about Batman himself and going deep into his character and stuff, and it's all just about him, then I just turn off, because for me, he's just not that interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this as a guy, like, I've read a lot of Batman, and if you think Batman's, like, super interesting, the best character, that's all fine. You know, you can enjoy that. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm a Jim Gordon guy, and
nice.
Robin guy, and now kind of an Alfred guy. I remember he, like, died once. It was really weird, and he just came back later. Actually, that's not weird. That happens all the time in comics, but yeah.
Well, they killed the character right before the 1966 TV show had started.
I think that,
and then
that was,
the character became so popular in the TV show, they brought him back in the comic and didn't really say why. He was just magically there again.
And his auntie, like, just shows up the next day or something after he dies, and is pretty much like, I'm gonna be the new Alfred. I can't remember. It was something weird like that. But
that
yeah, and I'm also super into detective stuff. I love that stuff. It's just when Batman's all up his own bottom and everything, that's when it bugs me. But enough about Batman. Unless Karl wants to say anything.
Back to Iron Fist and trying to defend Iron Fist. Part of my biggest issue when talking to people is they haven't read any comic books, so their literally only experience with Iron Fist has been with the Spider-Man cartoon, where he's like surfer hippie dude, and I'm like, yeah, that's not really. I don't have a problem with it because it's a kid show, but that's really not how the character acts, talks, dresses.
I'm on the record for just not liking that version of Iron Fist. That is none of that is just.
I find it very strange. Like I was gonna say I'm too old to have really, like, I've only caught a couple of episodes of the cartoon in passing, and I just find it really odd.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a brand on his chest.
No.
Which is probably the biggest sin, honestly.
That, and he went to Kunlun, and Davros was dressed like a scorpion, I believe.
Yeah, it was like a weird Mortal Kombat episode. It wasn't very good.
It's awesome.
It sounds awesome, but it's not.
No, I mean like awesome in how bad it could be.
Oh, right, yeah. No, I wish. It was just... But, the Iron Fist episode of Luke Cage Season 2...
It was so good.
Yeah, why don't you guys start?
Well,
you already did, but yeah.
I'm like worried about what I might say now. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved having having DW there as D-Dub. I loved the little, I thought it was witty, and Danny was still a little bit like, slightly on the mystical side, still joking about the dragon or commenting about the dragon. But they showed that like Luke respected his opinion and wasn't just brushing him off as some rich whiny guy. So I think it showed more what the relationship could be, where it's kind of like they're both reaching out to each other and starting to get that friendship. And it was just like, Danny refusing to go away, saying, no, I'm going to help you. And then actually being useful, blah, blah, blah. So I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Karl?
Two things I had problems with the episode.
Mm-hmm.
One, after being in an underground cavern filled with dragon bones, Luke Cage is still not believing there's a dragon.
That's a good point, actually.
Two, Danny didn't just buy the barbershop for Luke. He'll buy in a giant, huge warehouse in the middle of New York City so they can burn it to the ground. But he won't bail out a friend who's losing his barbershop that he's been part of and Pops died in and all that happy stuff. That seemed a little odd.
If they included that scene, we probably would have gotten more speeches about money, so... Yeah, we already got that speech in the episode, which was fine. But I think Luke would have refused because he wants to make his own thing, and he would have been like, come on, man. No.
Danny doesn't ask. Danny just makes a phone call.
Yeah, I mean, he did buy Colleen's gym.
That's true. Respect the dojo.
Sorry.
No, I wasn't talking to you. I just thought that was...
No, but you're right. It was a dojo, not a gym.
Totally sweeps that punk's leg. Yeah. It's great. Yeah.
But yes, he was more chillax. He was, the whole thing was smoother. He looks like he's put on some weight, muscle-wise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He has been training a lot in real life.
Might keep people from complaining. And just for the most part, he's aging. The actor himself, Ben Jones, and he's aging well. He didn't look as young.
The haircut wasn't quite as Labrador. Labradoodle, I should say. It was a little bit less floofy and...
Yeah. And maybe Danny in Season 2 will be more like Return of the Jedi Luke instead of, farm boy Luke who wants to go to Toshi Station for power converters, so... He'll mature, become... I guess I have some quibbles, if you will, to everyone's shock and awe, I'm sure.
You, Connor, never.
Actually, I'll say first, I did love seeing them and DW in the same room. And when I love the part where Danny's like, I'm the immortal Iron Fist, and DW goes, that guy knows how to brand. And yeah, there was some cool moments like Power Man and Iron Fist and they fist bump. Danny strayed a bit too close to Surfer Dude sometimes for me. He just came off as a bit like airheaded, if that makes sense. But it didn't bug me too much. But the main thing is actually this thing before the main thing. They kind of tie in. It's weird how, because after you see Defenders, you think Luke could be groaning that Danny's shown up, but he's happy to see him. I got the vibe that Luke still didn't really like Danny at the end of Defenders. But all of a sudden they're like hugging each other and stuff.
I get that.
Like, even the scenes where Luke was being a bit warmer to Danny and the Defenders towards the end, he still came off as really condescending. And I don't know if that's the reason, but for some reason I just didn't really feel the chemistry. Maybe I'll have to watch it again. But I don't know, how did you guys feel about the chemistry between the actors?
I thought it was much better.
Yeah, this episode.
I had no problem with it. It's how it should originally have been. And as for the Defenders itself, other than Misty getting her arm cut off, I like to think the Defenders never happened.
I really liked the Iron Fist and Daredevil stuff in Defenders.
Meh.
Oh, that was great.
I quite liked it.
Meh. What did you guys think of Colleen and Misty's barroom brawl?
It was so good.
Was that where Cockroach... No, that was where Mr. Fish showed up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah. It's a... No, yeah.
Misty throwing right hooks without a right.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Setting up Daughters of the Dragon stuff.
I thought it was great seeing them together.
Did they call them Daughters of the Dragon in that episode? Or am I just completely misremembering?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They may have done. I've only seen it once, though, so...
Because I guess in the show's context, it wouldn't make sense for Misty to be associated with Iron Fist at this point in time. Maybe I'm just getting mixed it up because maybe I'm mixing up because in the comic, like I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was cool. I will give props to Misty this season. I thought she was really cool, and I think that's a really good way to write a strong female character, unlike some other franchises going around right now. But I won't get into that. But yeah, no, I thought she was really good. I preferred her to Luke, which isn't saying much, I guess, because Luke's like near the bottom of my list. But yeah, I really liked her. I felt like her scenes got a bit redundant towards the end, not because of her, but just because it was the same cop sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Office drama and interrogating. It was just like, do something else, get back on the street or something. I don't know. What did you guys?
I like that they gave her time to sort of mourn the arm, get used to prosthetic. Yeah. You know, like I like that they gave her the time to sort of like cry about it and stuff.
I liked the,
but not too much time. It was like they kind of balanced that well. Like they didn't make her, oh my god, it's all she's gonna do. But they didn't make her go, oh great, I've got a prosthetic now, I'm fine.
Yeah, she does not stop on about her arm in the comics, that's for sure. Not for a while, anyway.
To be fair, I wouldn't forever. Happened to me. I'd be like,
I feel like in the comics, you could be like, oh, this is a good taco. My arm got blown off. But
if it ever happened to Rebecca, she'd be just constantly bitching about, do you know how much money and tattoos I had in that arm?
Yeah, right?
And now I got a metal one. Jesus Christ.
I'd just say, paint the metal on, now.
Wow. What did you guys think of it, like the prop they used or whatever?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it worked very well. They even had the clear plastic sleeve and the sensors for the nerves that go on the skin. It was quite realistic. That's why I posted that video up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I heard that's what they were going for, is less the sort of comicsy version and more one that might actually be close to what people actually wear, because they wanted to sort of give people something to people who are in that situation.
It wasn't just a robot.
Some representation. Because, in half the comics, you can't even tell she's got a prosthetic.
Right.
Because, like, they have a hand wave. Oh, they've made it look like real skin now.
Yeah.
Or she's more $6 million man in the comic book.
It's a bit of both, isn't it? I mean, like, the issues we're about to look at and stuff, you would never know.
Yeah.
and then and yet, like, yeah, some of the other ones it's gold, and so
Yeah.
it kind of depends on the artist.
It was still a very powerful arm, though, in the show.
Oh yeah, for sure, and I like that, but I just like, but the fact they just kept it looking realistic.
Yeah.
Oh, and on a side note, I love they put the theater in there.
Yes.
Wait, did they?
Yeah, remember? He was hiding out in a theater for 2 days.
Oh, well, it didn't click in my head that was the theater. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I liked how they did more with Raphael Scarf's character in this season,
Yeah.
even if it was during flashbacks, because I felt like of what we saw of him in the first season, they just mentioned like briefly that his son accidentally shot himself, and I felt like there was so much to be explored in that character in the first season, but they never really did it. He was just like a cartoon villain most of the
Yeah,
time.
I was glad they went back to that.
But then in this, they went back and gave him more depth, so I thought that was really good. And also Misty being tempted to do things his way as well was nice.
I just wish the flashbacks included a mustache.
Yeah. And I'll also mention that Rebecca and I will be talking very in depth about episodes 10 and 11 on Defenders podcast with Claire. We've both been on it before. Rebecca more than me. This is not the Defenders TV podcast, which we did the Damnation crossover with, although you should also check out those guys because they're also covering Luke Cage in its entirety. They're releasing 2 episodes a week, I believe, so...
Yeah, they
so,
whipped
yeah,
it
like
pretty far.
Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah. It's crazy, but good for them. But yeah, we'll be posting on our page and stuff when Rebecca and I are going to be up on the other podcast. So, yeah, thought Luke Cage Season 2 was good, better than the first season. You guys have any other closing thoughts to add, or should we get on to...
Let's get on to it.
Yep. Okay, so... the latest and greatest team of all, Power Man and Iron Fist 51, Night on the Town. And on the cover we have Luke punching a hole through a robot who looks like a man in the center of the page, and Dan is kicking one in the background. And the title of the book is, hey, it's consistent, A Night on the Town. And the previous issue said that the next issue was going to be A Night on the Town. So, hey, all 3 titles are accurate. Well done.
Once.
So
Hooray.
this came out, let's see, this came out in 1978 in June. And it was written by Chris Claremont, and this is the last issue to be fully written by Chris before he starts co-plotting and then eventually leaves for X-Men. Penciler is Mike Zeck, Ernie Chan is the inker, Rick Parker is letterer, M.E. Beveridge is the colorist, and Jim Shooter is the editor. It begins in Harlem. Early on a cool spring evening, Cage is touring the old neighborhood, showing Danny Rand where he grew up, trying to recapture the man who once lived here, and finding it harder than he thought. The last thing either one wants is trouble, but they find it anyway. And, yep, so this is, I just read that out to set the mood. They're walking down the street, and as they're walking down, these 2 guys in yellow jumpers with red jackets come crashing out of a window. And I'm going to start talking about Danny's clothes here.
Yep. He's got a medallion on for a start.
It's awful.
A green suit. It's really awful. And a black polo neck, I think. I don't know if it's a polo neck or not, but sweater.
Yeah, yellow cuffs. Oh my god, it's terrible.
It's just hideous.
So they go to move in. Danny's running in an alleyway. He's going to go through the kitchen, and he's probably also going to change into his costume while he does that. And Luke's going to go in the front to see what the trouble's about. The door's locked, so he just punches through this guy's establishment. And I'm guessing he's not going to pay for that door?
Yeah, as if.
Don't know. I mean, these guys are like the street level heroes, so they got to be more careful with this stuff. It's not like big Avengers alien invasions. I mean, they should be careful on that too, but this is like, why don't you just knock or go around the back? I don't know. Whatever. So there's 3 identically dressed goons and identically looking goons. They're threatening shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper's telling Lucas to stay out of it. So Luke throws a punch. He doesn't stay out of it. He throws a punch at one of the purple people, and yeah, doesn't do anything. And they backslap Luke across the room. Luke pulled his punch, but he still should have been knocked out. So they start fighting. Luke's not pulling any punches, but they're just not doing anything to these guys, and they start kicking the crap out of Luke. And now he's on the ground, and he comments, "Ain't been hit so hard since I fought Bushmaster," which was
Hooray.
2 issues ago, not 1 issue ago, which is, different. And then Danny comes in and fly kicks one of the goons, pushing the other goon away, and Thabam, so I mentioned that sound effect. And it doesn't do anything, but Danny's not hurting himself attacking the goons like Luke was. So he's sitting there. He gets a chair to the back of the head.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. He's too busy thinking about why.
Yeah.
Like, they're just so tough. He's like, why are these guys so tough? And he gets a chair in the back. But that doesn't really seem to faze him, because he just lights up the Iron Fist.
The bartender yells, "White boy, watch your back!"
Yeah.
He definitely stands out.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're pushing him against the wall, but he just lights up his fists. We get a classic Shikao. We don't get a like unto a thing of iron, though.
No.
And, he shatters the robots to pieces. They're just all in, like, rubble on the ground, so.
Yeah. It's kind of, even one of them actually goes, they just blew up.
Yeah.
And the police show up.
And, then they pin it on Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yeah. And they know they're being set up, but, like, Luke's going, "Don't worry about it, Danny." Like, see, here's Danny getting a bit angry, righteous indignation at being framed, and Luke's leading him away and saying, "Look, I know what happens, let's just get out of the way and stop making a fuss."
Yeah. So Luke's pretty much just saying this is his neighborhood. He knows how things work here. Obviously the shopkeeper's pinging on him, so he doesn't get further retribution from whoever sent these robot hoods to trash his store, so. And they get put in the cop car, and what do you know? Scarf is in the front seat.
That's right. Magnum PI before Magnum PI.
What's
Lieutenant Scarf?
What's his district again? Is it Oive, New York?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wherever he needs to be.
Okay.
And yes, Lieutenant Scarf is very different than Lieutenant Scarf in Luke Cage.
Very.
Yeah, I think we kind of discussed that. Yeah, he's not.
Until later, there's a little bit of stuff. But.
So a stylish purple car drives away from the scene and goes.
What the hell is that? What ornament?
Looks like a gargoyle sort of thing,
or a cat. I can't tell.
It just looks like one of those hood ornaments like they have on Rolls Royces, isn't it?
Yeah.
It does look like a cat.
So, his destination is Liberty Towers, a high-rise, low-income housing project begun in the heyday of federal anti-poverty programs. The project was hailed a masterpiece of enlightened urban planning. It was also rotten to the core. For every dollar budgeted for construction, over half was ripped off. Within a year, the project's dedication, the city had condemned every building. Today, Liberty Towers is just another dream gone bust. The complex given over to street gangs, derelicts, and rats. So yeah, crummy neighborhood.
So is this guy Cockroach?
No.
Our man in purple? He's just our man in purple?
He's called Shreve.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's called Shreve, but, well, he's called Shreve because someone named him that, but it's a weird name, it's the point I was trying to make. Yeah.
I figured that was his surname.
Yeah.
So he gets off the elevator into a very tech-savvy room covered in panels and tubes and all metal everywhere. We have a very large man in what appears to be a wheelchair-type device or a throne. You really can't tell from this angle. All in red, including red glasses. Good evening, Shreve. I trust you've got a good reason for disturbing me. Two of them, Boss, Power Man, and Iron Fist.
And we have a woman lying next to him.
In a bikini and thigh-high boots. Because it's the 70s.
And she's also trying to play herself off as just his, piece on, as a trophy piece. She's actually, well, we'll find out what she's all about soon enough.
But she's upset about missing the Muppet Show, which, that's a redeeming feature.
Yeah. So, she's like, Pumpkin, I'm mixing a wee drinky, you want one? So, she goes off, and, I'm just gonna assume he's a pimp, is talking, he's like, Iron Fist and Luke Cage stop your boys from leaning on, Leroy Thompson. And, he's essentially saying Power Man and Iron Fist are going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And then we have Nightshade, who is actually the mastermind, and is telling...
someone.
The big guy. Do we know his name yet?
I don't think so.
We find his name out, but I don't think he's mentioned it yet. But she's telling him what to tell Shreve. So she's the boss of the operation, just using... her Muppet love as a disguise for the ruthless person. And yes, this is Nightshade, who was in the recent show.
Yeah.
And we go to the Rand house. They're all having a meeting. Who's that lady?
Which lady?
Not Misty.
Colleen.
Really? When did Colleen get grey hair?
I think it's just bad colouring, honestly.
Okay.
Because it's our gang and Raph Scarf and Blake Tower.
Yeah, and Colleen doesn't actually show up again after this panel, so...
No.
And Tom Selleck is warming his hands by the fire.
I know, it's obviously he's the only one that's cold.
Yeah. Yeah, Luke's just standing there with his very loose shirt on. He's not weather resistant, you know that much.
And Misty's in a fairly small top.
Yeah. And so Scarf has given them the lowdown. These guys started showing up 2 months ago, essentially a protection scam. They forced out all the gangs, the mafia, the Magia, as Marvel says. Marvel. And then they found out that, well, they were pretty much impervious to bullets, and they started throwing around cop cards. They did kill a couple, but their computer brain self-destructed before they could analyze it. So, this is pretty much him and DA Tower are here, Blake Tower, and they can script Danny, Misty, and Luke into getting to the bottom of this. Not Colleen.
Sending Misty undercover.
Is she undercover? Yep. No, I thought she was hanging around with Danny.
No, she's about to go undercover.
Okay.
Part of their thing, because he doesn't want to put her through it again, and she's like, "It's my life to risk."
Yeah.
Oh, they're arguing.
You ain't the boss of me.
Danny and Misty never argue. This is weird.
No. It's
no, he's not. They're not arguing.
Oh,
but also Danny's just like, it's Blake.
Oh, okay. Yep. Sorry, it's been like a week since I read this.
No,
it's fine.
But yeah. So the three of them start canvassing. Star Wars is playing at the theater.
Yes, nice little plug there.
Yeah. Because, Marvel is doing Star Wars at this point. Star Wars comics, so...
And to be fair, the comics out in 78, Star Wars out in 77, so...
Yeah. And they're not bad either.
No.
Um,
Yeah, they're alright, yeah, no, I'm kidding.
well, there's some really, like, odd gems in there. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
But yes, they start canvassing, and they're talking
Doing
to all
the
sorts of,
legwork.
yeah, all sorts of colourful characters.
Yeah, his
And-
alcoholic pooch.
Yeah, like that guy with his
Big
dog.
Ben Donovan. Big Ben Donovan. Mariah's lawyer.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Chinatown Street Gangs, Wichita Kid, General Rummies like the Professor, and his alcoholic pooch, Falstaff. And they get nowhere.
So they go for food because,
In costume.
as we are about to establish, as we go through this run, they eat an awful lot.
Oh, yeah.
Who are always at restaurants
And
together or getting takeout.
Always makes me hungry.
This one you can't really see what they're eating at least. Usually they talk about, there's a whole episode, there's a whole issue, well, there's a whole series of panels where Luke teaches Danny how to eat pizza. Yeah.
I remember
It's
then
amazing.
there was a point where Foggy stole the last slice of pizza. And Luke Cage got really angry at him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're discussing, what's going wrong. So Luke is saying, he's gonna go off on his own and give it a shot. Cause he's a loner at heart. He ain't good working in a crowd.
Yeah.
And Danny's like, right, we need a break. So Danny has an idea. He's gonna go to Rand Meacham, since they have some of the finest lab facilities in New York. So he's gonna, maybe see if they can find something the police missed. And,
Yeah, Misty's gonna go off and do her own thing
Yep.
that she's not gonna tell them about.
so they're all splitting up. Misty doesn't tell them what she's doing, probably because they would disagree. I can't actually remember what she's doing, if it's this issue.
She's about to go undercover.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, they totally wouldn't let her. She took care of herself well last time, but that also,
Yeah.
got a bit messy. But later that morning in the ultra swank Turtle Bay Plaza, just upriver from the United Nations. So we have Luke visiting Harmony, who he met last issue, didn't he? Because he saved her.
Yeah, I can't remember when he met her, yeah. His new romantic interest.
Yeah. Which isn't that much about the deep and meaningful romance, you could say.
No. She's a bit ditchy. She's a model, right?
Yeah.
Yep. She was more worried about her nails
Yeah. A lot of the
than the
time.
fact that,
And she's like, she's saying all this stuff, and Luke's like, alright, let's hang out.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever.
I haven't got anything I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then we get to Misty disguising herself. And so she's
just say it, she's dressed as a hooker.
No, I'm trying to figure out, like, doesn't he know all of his...
You would think.
Apparently not.
Okay, so he's just like, whatever. He just lets her get in. Oh wait, no, he doesn't. Okay, he's surprised when she barges in his car, but I guess he's not really paying enough attention to know that she's not, one of his.
He calls her street trash.
Yeah.
And then she
Think I'm
pulls her
trying to
gun.
deal with no street trash.
She pulls out her gun.
And then he recognizes her.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Misty Knight? What do you want?
The gun was the missing piece in that puzzle.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I guess who else? She might have a reputation for just going around and pulling guns on people, so...
She might.
Yeah.
Because clearly you can't tell she's got a fake arm. Because you can't in this. You can't.
Oh.
Actually, yeah, I mean, I know you say that they
Honest-
sometimes say there's, like
Yeah,
a skin
honestly,
thing,
it's-
but...
Yeah, they've said it before, they've sort of explicitly said it, I don't know which comics, I'm sure we'll get to them, where they sort of said, oh yeah, it's got this cover on it, but like, it's one of those hand-wavy things, it seems to depend what the artist wants to draw.
Yeah, I mean,
but she's in a bikini top, it would be noticeable.
yeah, it would definitely be a giveaway.
Yeah.
like pulling out a gun. But I guess, yeah, have they mentioned it before this though?
What, the arm?
Like, well, I know she has, like, they mentioned the rubber arm, but
Yeah.
have they ever mentioned that they can make it look like a normal arm?
Not in our current reading, I don't believe.
Okay. Alright, well, interesting. So, yeah, she tells him to take her to, somewhere, like, he says he's gonna tell her all he knows somewhere private. So he takes her to, the Liberty Towers garage, so like where he went before, and when he comes out, he's alone with a very evil smile on his face. So Misty is missing in action.
Same month.
Yep, Danny's got a better suit on than he did before.
Still greenish.
Yeah, he's still got the Australian Socceroos colours on.
Yeah, he's very dedicated to his colour, his costume colour.
Yeah, which is like, you think he'd, like, not dress similar to his costume if he's so obsessed with having a secret identity.
Yeah, but at least he's not a sweater now, he's in a proper business suit.
Like, you don't see Peter running around wearing, like,
only in
red and blue clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine? Tony only wears red and gold. He wears quite a lot of red and gold, but, like, not really,
Yeah. So, Danny...
So he gets up the elevator in his own building, and he's told he cannot go in here because it's a restricted floor and there's no visitors allowed.
And
Danny's like, "Are you serious, Gus? You know me." He's, "No, I do not know you, young fella, and if you know what's good for you, you'll get out of here pronto.
Wink.
You're going to be in more trouble than you can imagine. Now beat it." Danny's thinking to himself, as there's more guards even in the background, "Something's wrong. Gus has checked me into this building hundreds of times. He's pale and sweating, yet the room's cool. And who are these other guards? A half dozen, where there's usually no more than two." And then we have a very interesting panel of like 3 floors. "I won't say it again there, mister. Hey, I'm sorry, I made an honest mistake," as Danny's headed back to the elevator. "Okay, Gus, here's hoping that performance gets you off the hook, assuming you're on one." And now we have Danny in the elevator making his escape through the roof to find out what's really going on.
Those 3 panels are probably there because of the elevator sequence. Just to show the levels, I guess. But yeah, he jumps on top of the elevator and he just starts climbing up. He climbs up to the roof, gets out, changes into his costume. It's a ruined suit, and he comments that he didn't like the suit much anyway. Okay.
Neither did we, Danny.
And he's talking about, I feel so much more strongly tied to it than I do to Kunlun, because his comic has to be set in New York, so they're going to make him feel more tied to Earth than Kunlun. For now.
Yeah.
Until later when he realizes he was being an idiot, but whatever. This is just them brushing over the fact that he should really be in Kunlun. And yeah, so what?
He snaps himself back to reality.
Yeah, he's looking across
Yeah.
Is that Joy's penthouse?
And I don't even understand what the setup here is, that he can't get on a floor in his own building to then climb to the roof to then look across.
Yeah, maybe it's not just a tower, it's like a semicircle or something.
I don't know. It's a very weird setup. But yeah, there's gunmen at Joy Meacham's penthouse walking around like they own it. And there's a lot of them. So he jumps from above and takes out 2 with a shock and a kai, and then bounces off of a couch.
It's great.
To throw
someone in
a
the
flying
face.
sidekick. Yep, right in the face. Then he thracks a guy in the chin with his elbow.
Yeah.
And as he's taking care of these goons, someone yells, "That's it, hero. You stand right there and you don't move a muscle. Is that clear? Huh? Heart of the Dragon. That's better. My name's Morgan, and I run the Harlem Rackets." and I'm here to find out if Rain Meacham is behind the outfit that's been carving up my turf. While I'm doing that, hero, you're gonna behave yourself, because if you step out of line just once, and my screen just froze, so you gotta take it from there.
This little lady, Joy Meacham, is gonna die. So
I love how they phrase it. They have to drop in the Joy Meacham in case you've forgotten what she looks like.
Which is fair enough, because
that doesn't look anything like her.
We'll be getting into this next issue, trust me, because the last time Joy Meacham showed up was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And in this whole these whole early runs, it's really poorly handled. Whether she knows he's Iron Fist and what Danny's stake is exactly in the company, how they even resolved it, because the last time we saw them, they were having a meeting to discuss if Danny had, Danny was getting his company back at the behest of Jaren Hogarth. And then Chinese Street Gang crashed the meeting, and that was the last we saw of it. So we didn't know Danny got his company back until he just mentions it casually later.
Yeah.
We have not seen Joy again since that. Actually, no, we have seen her again with on the phone to Davos, never interacting with Danny or anything. So, and we have to assume that she doesn't know that Iron Fist is Danny because he said as much in the past, but the answer may be different than what you expect next issue, and I'll again be complaining about it. So yeah. But yes, next issue, The Fate of Misty Knight, the final showdown with Joy Meacham, and a brand new script are here. Be here in 60 for confrontation. And we're not going to tell you if the titles are consistent.
This will be a surprise.
A surprise for next time. Well guys, what did you think?
It's alright, it's a set-up issue, it's, it's not one of my standout issues, let's put it that way.
Yeah, because it is mostly set up.
Yeah.
I did like
very interesting Claremont story.
How is this an interesting Claremont story?
That's not his usual cup of tea. He's more fighty.
That's true.
Big bad villain. This has got there's more to it. There's stuff going on in the background. It's all urban-esque.
That being said, I really liked that aspect. It was very down to earth. They were just eating, discussing the next move. I liked the canvassing, like the legwork.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how they showed that aspect of it. It definitely shows that this is more Luke's world than Danny, because you never really saw Danny do legwork unless it was like him kicking the crap out of various gangs. So I enjoyed it. But, nothing was like super spectacular. All of Danny's fights were top notch as usual. I love the elbows, I love him blowing up those robots. It's still good for a martial arts comic. Even though we only got some brief fighting, we still got fighting. So, yeah.
Good setup. We'll have to see where it takes us.
Yes. So, see you guys next time, I guess.
Yep.
Yes.
Until then.
Same bat time.
May your.
Watch your back, white boy.
Yeah, white boys. See ya. Iron Fist and all other characters in these comics are properties of Marvel and Disney. Any music or images we use belong to their respective copyright holders. We do this for fun, so please don't sue us. You can contact us at sonsofthedragonpodcast@gmail.com. Just send us mail, comments, thoughts, anything you want really. It doesn't even have to be related to Iron Fist. If you don't want it read on the air though, make sure you mention that. You can also find us on Facebook, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast, Sons of the Dragon. Our Twitter, at Iron Fist Podcast. Our SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Sons of the Dragon, hyphens where the spaces are. Our YouTube, Karl. Just search Iron Fist Podcast and you'll find us real quick. We are also on iTunes. If you find us there, give us a review and rate us. If it's less than 5 stars, please say why so we can improve the show. And we're on Podcast Garden in the literature section, and last but not least, head over to our WordPress, Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast.wordpress.com. That's where I put all the show notes. I'd like to thank Thomas Tissot for composing the Iron Fist theme song we use at the start of our Iron Fist episodes on the podcast. I'd also like to thank Peter John Sikosky for composing the Power Man and Iron Fist theme we use at the start of our Power Man and Iron Fist episodes. And finally, thanks to you guys for listening.